Hey guys, welcome to another Anon Criminal video. Today we have a review for you that is of the rare Scattershot shotgun within Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer, and let us get straight into its stats. So it does 242 damage, 150 rate of fire, 8 max clip size, infinite max ammo because it is a revenant weapon, 60 accuracy and 35 weight. As per usual, I have no modifications on the gun or skills invested in my character to improve it in any way to make it how it is straight out of the pack and how it will be for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. The Scattershot is a gun I really wanted to enjoy, and I did begin to enjoy it in my early games, but the more I played with it, the more I realised its substantial flaws. I'm going to go into its stats individually, and the first one obviously on the list is damage, and this is where I think its fall from grace comes. I think it doesn't do enough damage per shot. Maybe if it was improved by 100, so it did about 342 damage per shot, I reckon the gun would be improved substantially. When comparing it to the Piranha and the Crusader and other shotguns on the game, it is substantially worse off in its damage category, maybe 2 times worse in most cases. Most shotguns seem to do plus 400, this does 242, and you can really see it. You end up having to pump a lot of bullets into enemies to kill them. When it comes to the Scattershot, that's maybe 7 or 8 shots just to kill a normal brute enemy on silver, and that can be quite annoying, but that is without modifications. Obviously you can modify it to give more damage, and I would recommend that personally, just because it doesn't feel like a damaging weapon and it needs some substantial improvements. Not even substantial really, just slight improvements, maybe just a slight buff to that damage to make it feel better. Its rate of fire is quite impressive. I did enjoy its rate of fire. It is very quick. You can basically fire it as fast as you pull the trigger. However, that is not recommended just because it is a remnant weapon, and if you do this, it will end up having to go into its cooldown process, which can leave you vulnerable. But I got no quibble on its rate of fire, and I don't have a lot of quibble with its other stats. It's just that damage stat that I've mentioned previously. So rate of fire is very good. I did enjoy it when comparing it to other shotguns, especially those uncommon ones that I have reviewed before, such as the Ruzad and Disciple, etc. So as you saw at the beginning of the video, it has a max clip size of 8. What this basically means, as it's a remnant weapon, is you can pull the trigger 8 times continuously, and after the 8th shot the gun will go into an overheating process. As you see where your ammo count would be on the bottom left of the screen, you have a percentage bar. Once you get that down to 0%, it overheats. Each shot takes out 12% of that bar, so 8 shots you hit 0. But the good thing about the gun is that if you fire several shots and maybe you get it down to 44% of its bar, and then you wait a second, the bar will replenish it straight out back to 100%, meaning you don't go into that overheating process and you have those bullets back. So basically the good thing about this gun is if you don't continuously fire and you maybe leave a second between a shot, or every 4 or 5 shots you take, you find yourself never overheating the gun, which is extremely nice. It means that you rarely leave yourself vulnerable and you always have bullets to fire at your enemies. If you are finding yourself overheating the gun, you will on occasions. Obviously we're not perfect, obviously sometimes you may forget that it's on a cooldown, or you may not realise that you haven't given it enough time to get back up to 100%. When it does go into that overheating phase, you are left vulnerable for 3 or 4 seconds. It does take 3 or 4 seconds for the gun to be useful again and to come out of that overheating process. This is quite fair. It may seem quite unfair to you that you are left vulnerable for 4 seconds, but if you are allowing it to overheat when you're in harm's way, etc., you kind of deserve that 4 seconds. It's quite nice. It's kind of a fair payoff for the fact that you don't have to collect ammo and you don't have to worry about reloading, etc. Its max ammo is obviously infinite, and this is one of the things that I'm going to say really bolsters the weapon when it comes to the fact that it is on a cooldown. It is a revenant weapon. I find it extremely useful that it does not have to reload, as you've seen in my reviews on things like the Ruzad and stuff like that. Many shotguns I have a quibble with their shotgun reload rate. The reload rate on a lot of the shotguns is abysmal. I think it's due to an animation issue, but you do find that you are left vulnerable for a long time when you have to reload. Obviously if you don't let this gun overheat, you never have to reload. You never have to leave yourself vulnerable waiting to use the weapon again before it becomes available. So it is very nice to see that you don't have a long reload time with this gun. and that is one of the major benefits when comparing it to other shotguns. You don't have to wait a long time and leave yourselves in harm's way while you go through a long animation process to reload. And that is what I'm going to say the major perk of the Scattershot is, and why I like it compared to other shotguns and wish it did more damage, because it could be a really solid weapon. It also has really good accuracy. You can basically get off quite a lot of headshots with the gun, as you may see in some of my gameplay. Its shot is very accurate. This has an advantage and a disadvantage. Obviously it makes it easier to get critical hits, but also a disadvantage can be that if you're quite used to shotguns having a lot of spread on them, quite a lot of scatter, because there is a scatter shot, it doesn't do that. You can't really go around and willy-nilly kind of shoot at enemies and just have them in your crosshairs, etc. You do have to be quite accurate, make sure you're being pinpoint, or else you will not get the shot off. There's not like you're going to have loads of shrapnel that goes and kills the enemy or damages them. You do have to be quite precise with your shots, and you do find it quite difficult to hit fire quite quickly and maybe haphazardly and not end up damaging your enemy. So that is something you do have to be quite accurate with this gun. You can't allow yourself to think that it will be like other shotguns where you can have a lot of scatter to your shot, because there isn't very much scatter to the shot. It is very precise. Moving on to weight. Its weight is quite heavy, but you can get off with just using the Scattershot, I would argue, if you're combining it with other skills such as flat cannon, stuff like that will do substantial damage. You can get away with using Scattershot, so in no way would I say that the Scattershot has a heavy weight. You can get off with just using it and not having another one, so not affecting your skill cooldown, or you can just compile it with another gun and that'll be that. Obviously you can minimise its weight with modifications. When it comes to using the gun, it is very effective when used with stuff like turbochargers, because you can get more shots off before it overheats. Obviously you have a higher rate of fire and more damage. So using it on a soldier, unlike what I've done where I've used it with a Krogan because I like to get into people's faces, if you use it with like a soldier like the Turin Havoc Trooper, you do find combining it with turbocharge does make it a more effective weapon, but that doesn't really need to be the case. We should be seeing it doing more damage without having to compile it with skills, etc. So my overall review of this Scattershot is it is a solid weapon. It is fine to use on silver, especially if you've got a good team around you. If you have a good team around you, you do find that you do get a lot of assists off of people and lots of damage done, but not kills. So in that respect, I would say the Scattershot is a good gun. I just wish it did more damage. If it did more damage, it would be a lot more of a viable weapon. But at this moment in time, and before we hit patch 2.0 or whatever it's going to be called, I'm going to be saying that the Scattershot is an okay gun, but isn't perfect. And if they improved its damage, my opinion on this gun would change so much, because I love it because of its rate of fire, and especially the fact that it doesn't have a reload, something that is a massive problem on shotguns in Andromeda. So there we go, that is my review of the Scattershot. If you've enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, leave your opinions on the gun. That is something that matters. This is a community really, but we all need to give our opinions of what needs to be changed, etc. Or else BioWare will not alter stuff. Maybe it's not best to post them in the comment section of my videos, maybe do it in the BioWare blog. But leave your opinions so I can see them, because I do appreciate them. So like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and have a nice day. Peace out.